So what are you saying, in a way, is that the free market, capitalism being what it is, which has allowed companies, food manufacturers to make them more full of more salt, more fat, in order to attract you, in order to make more profits, is actually resulting in obesity?
I was in a cafe, right? I normally like to go in there, and I might have beans on toast,
cheese on
cup
top.
of tea. I might have a bit of cheese.
Yeah, cheddar on top.
Only if they offer. I sometimes sort of think I shouldn't have it, so I'll only have it if they say, "Do you want cheese?"
Oh, okay.
And then it's down to their problem. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like they made me have that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sat in there.
Look how Ricky's glazed over just thinking about cheese on toast now.
I'm sat in there. This little fella, I'd say he was from like Africa or something. Came in, he had a little top hat on, suitcase, and red jeans. Dead happy he was. I think he just turned up to London. It's his first day out, and he's probably thinking, I can't believe me. Look at the choice here. Anyway, the difference was...
All conjecture.
Yeah. The
difference was, he went in, and he said, have you got any porridge? He asked for 2 bowls for the price of 1. There was a little bit of a
kerfuffle.
Yeah, a little bit, because he couldn't understand why. You've got loads of porridge, give me 2 portions. But what I found interesting is, he didn't want to go for the donut or the pastry, because in his country they don't have it. So food where he's from is for what food is for, isn't it? Giving you energy.
Yeah.
Here it's not about that, is it?
No.
You go, oh, I'd love a little muffin. So I just found it interesting. That's all my point is, that he could have anything. He's come over here. He's in London. He's got loads of stuff on offer. But he still wanted his porridge.
Do you think that? Well, firstly, do you think perhaps he had travelled from the past in some kind of time machine? But secondly, do you think that now that he'll have his first taste of a donut, won't he, or a pain au chocolat? Do you think he'll get the taste of it next time you see him?
Well, maybe that's how it works, isn't it? I mean, why do I like?
Next time when they go, hello, usual.
No, chef the porridge. I want a donut.
That's what happens, isn't it? You try one. It's like that. The people I'm talking about who's had a kid and always giving it mango, they haven't let it add a burger yet.
It hasn't got any teeth.
Burgers aren't. I don't mean like a proper beef one. I mean like a takeaway one that's pretty soft. It's all about a mixture. You need a mixture in your body. You need to have, like I've said to you before, I get an urge for things that I don't even know about. Do you know what I mean?
What?
Anything. The one that always surprises me are plums. Because I shouldn't get an urge for plums. I don't like them enough, but if I pass them in a supermarket, I go, I want them for a bit. Yeah, I think you need that. And I go mad. I'll eat a full packet in a day. I'll eat like 6 and get bellyache and that. And I know I shouldn't overdo it with them. But it's just like, my body...
He's like a creature, isn't he?
My body just calls out for stuff.
It doesn't, Carl.
No, it feels that way because I wouldn't normally buy them. My favourite fruit, I like an apple. Love a banana. I've got into blackberries.
Yeah.
Quite expensive, but a bit of a treat.
Have people paid money for this podcast? A man just listing his favourite fruits.
Yeah, Graham not included.
But
are you a fan of the gooseberry?
Don't know if I've had them.
You've never had a gooseberry?
They're very, very tart.
They are very bizarre.
They're
What do they look
like a green testicle. They've even got the little hair on it. A gooseberry is like a really crispy, plump little berry, but it's very, very it's sour. I mean, you've got to have it in pies with sugar and stuff.
I bet my godson's had one. He's only 1.5. I bet he's already had a gooseberry, and I've never had one in my life.
Right. He'd never said it before, and he said gooseberry. He decided that's the way to pronounce it.
Gooseberry.
What's that? What's a gooseberry? A gooseberry. Well, okay. I'd never heard it before, but I'm going to say it now, but I'm going to say it my way. Gooseberry.
I've never had one. I don't feel like I need another fruit, that's the thing. I think there's plenty of fruit out there. Bananas, apples, oranges. If you get a little bit sick of oranges...
I'm a big fan of the Satsuma. Easy to peel. What I don't like is the big oranges you have to peel them and you get it on your... You know.
They're the ones I eat when I'm in the bath. That's just easy,
so you just dunk under the water afterwards and you're clean again.
If I'm going to have a bath, then that's what you do.
So it's 2 treats. It's an orange and a bath. I mean, that's amazing. That's an amazing thing to look forward to. Don't you think you've blown that for when you're old, when you're 74, and I go, I tell you what, Carl, lovely treat, it's a bath and an orange. Done it! I did it when I was 36!
We've got plenty of fruit. They can't get rid of fruit quick enough. There's loads of stuff with fruit in now. Shower gel with kiwi in it. Telling you, they can't get rid of it because it's too much. So they're just going, what can we do with all this stuff? We'll stick it in there. Orange juice. I had orange juice sort of cordial.
Yeah.
Tastes a bit weird, isn't orange? Sneaked a bit of pineapple in. Orange and pineapple. You can't get rid of the stuff.
What's up with that? Talking yesterday to Matt Robinson, the guy I did the film with that you came over and did a part in that we've cut. And his dad is a doctor and used to go around the world and stuff. And when he was about 10, he went on holiday, and they were driving through Indonesia to get to somewhere else. I forget where, but they came across this village where he said the spiders have won. Okay, they drive in. As you're driving in, he could see these things sort of hanging from the trees and the sort of telegraph poles. And as they got closer, he realised they were just big spiders. They just made webs everywhere, and he could see them on the street. Okay, he said it freaked him out. They parked up in this the sort of like the high street, and he said he got out, and they were running on the pavements like pigeons, and that's just running everywhere. He said the kids were playing with them. The kids were playing with them. There was no one else freaked out. He said he ran to the restaurant. They had to stop. He ran into the restaurant, freaked out. He got into the restaurant, and there was a tarantula on the floor. And he ran back in the car. And he said later to his dad, "Was that a dream?" And his dad went, "No, it's true. You know, it's a real place, right?" He was telling me, that's the worst place in the world. He was looking it up. He was trying to Google it, and he can remember the name of this place, Indonesia, and he put in Spider Village, Indonesia, right? And he couldn't find it. But another one came up in Cambodia, and it was there, and he said it was exactly the same, just as bad. A place where just spiders have won, okay? But in this place, they eat them.
They eat the spiders. The local inhabitants eat the spiders.
Yeah.
Wow. So this town is just dense with spiders.
It's just
everywhere.
they're just happy there. No one's killing them. No one's doing anything.
Are you just treading on them as you walk down the street?
He said it's just they've just taken over. There's a place off Madeira they called Spider Island where no one lives there, but with absolutely no predators. There's just millions of spiders, but no one lives there.
How do you prevent the spiders? You know, when you're sleeping, crawling in, getting in.
You
your
don't.
nose
They just put up with them. I suppose it's that, you know, they're no weirder than any other insect or pest or whatever you call them. It's just, I suppose, because you think of spiders as loners.
Yes.
And they're the top sort of phobia, and it seems weird that they're almost treated like pets. But isn't that a weird place though, that you drive in and it's just, oh hello, welcome to Spider Town?
I couldn't be dealing with it. I mean, my mum wouldn't be that bothered. She's still got that one that's under the telly. She's had that for ages. And my dad threatened that he was going to kill it because he's sick of it. She's put a bit of Tipex on its back, so she knows.
What?
So she knows.
Well, how many spiders are there? What, you think you'd kill it and then replace it out of guilt? It's not like a budgie.
No, but you can sort of say, "Oh, I don't know, it's gone," and then if one turns up again, he'll go, "Your spider's back."
Yeah.
But now she's marked it.
What? So hang on. It
Well,
has
that's weird.
it has a web underneath the telly.
It's always under the telly. I don't think it bothers with a web.
But what do you mean she keeps a spider under the telly?
It's just there, and she's sort of like, it's not a problem. They get rid of flies. They're not dirty. It just
Well, it doesn't
sits
get rid
there.
of flies if it sits there watching
It
Coronation
doesn't
Street.
do much. Honestly, it can be there in a corner. I don't know what it does. I don't know. It just sits there. But she likes the fact that it's there. It's that thing, innit, of older people like that, don't they? They don't like change. It's like part of the family, you know. All the kids have left home now. She's got this little spider with Tipex on its head.
I like the way that she went to a drawer. She had an idea. She was worried about it. She was worried about her husband killing it. I know. This is for your own good. Good Tipex. Pop that on you.
And you've been round there with the spider. It doesn't freak
Well,
you
I'm
out?
going round this weekend, but I used to always sit on the floor to watch the telly.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm not sitting on the floor.
You'd be watching Spider-Man. It would be criticising. Well, that wouldn't happen.
What does your mum think of it? Does she think it's like a little pet, or she doesn't want to get rid of it?
I think it is a pet because, like, you know, she's had loads of cats, she's had dogs, she's got a budgie, and now my dad's sort of saying, don't get any more pets because it means we can't go on holiday.
Right.
Spider can look after itself.
I love the idea. Someone say, do you mind coming? We're on holiday for a week. Do you mind coming around with a fly every 2 days? Yeah, I just keep an eye on it. I mean, I thought Spider Island was weird, but keeping a spider under the telly with Tipex on it as a pet.
I was watching a documentary about Nazi Germany and everything, and I just realised that I've felt guilty for quite a while because whenever I see a programme about the Nazi plan, I always take a certain solace. Like, I'm slightly smug that I know I'd have been okay because I'm tall and blonde almost blue-eyed,
Yeah.
pretty much fully functioning, except the eyes are a bit poor.
The Aryan race.
And that's what they were after, wasn't it? The sort
Yeah.
of Superman, the Aryan.
What do you mean?
well, Steve would have been the Aryan pin-up.
Yeah, I'm like a kind of poster boy
No,
for
no, you wouldn't.
Nazi
You
Aryans.
wouldn't. You wouldn't have been a pin-up.
No, but they'd have certainly. I'd have been maybe not on the posters, but I'd certainly have been down the recruitment office
Really?
signing people out there. So we want you to look like this.
So what do you think? So Steve goes. They go. Okay, we want someone tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. Someone goes. I know the person. He's not only. He's really tall. He's got really sort of striking eyes and is quite blonde. And they go, get him here. What do you think? He walks in. Hitler sees him. All the generals go.
Hitler would love me.
Do you want everyone to look like this? Thoughts, Carl?
If you turned up, they'd go, hang on a minute, this doesn't match.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No way. I am an ideal Nazi.
I think someone would sort of go, hang on, I think there's been a mistake here.
No, that's bollocks. That is absolute nonsense. I guarantee that I would have been one of the most popular Nazis.
Did they stick with that? Did they was that the rule? Or did they see someone like you and go, hang on, we need a lot more on this list because I've just seen something out there that ticks all the boxes and it's a little bit off.
No. Well, do you know what? You can laugh, but what would they have made of you? You'd have been straight against the wall, mate.
No, but I'd been alright because but Hitler was a bit like me, wasn't he?
Yeah, you did
He was
look like a
about
slightly
5'8",
proper
dark
Hitler.
hair. I mean, he made me laugh, Hitler.
Doesn't make many people laugh, but
No, I know, but you know what I mean? He's going, oh, we've got to be blonde. I go, hold on, whoa, Adolf, take a look at yourself, son. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was just, he was aspiring to something more like me.
Well, at least dye your hair. Why didn't he just at least peroxide it? If I said to Hitler, we got to do this image, right? Because people are laughing at you, because you're going around saying you want tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed fellas, and you're a little short, brown-eyed, black-haired fella. Right, first of all, okay, put these contact lenses in. Little blue contacts. Oh, look at that, your eyes pop. Lovely. Okay. Let's dye your hair, peroxide that, maybe, like Dave Sylvian, give him a little quiff. Okay? Now,
Some
right?
build-ups in his shoes.
Yeah, some Cuban heels, some maybe high heels. Right, now go out there. Now go out there.
That would have been an extraordinary look if that was the man that we knew and feared, giving those speeches. Peroxide hair,
Yeah.
Cuban heels.
Wouldn't
I'd have found Anne Frank in a second, just passing by,
Oh, yeah,
here
just-
in the top
yeah.
window, in the attic window.
He wouldn't
Hang
have had to, he'd have gone, lads, don't bother going inside. Go, look at this, get a ladder. Here she is.
on, typing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, Carl. I'm just saying that, one can have these guilty thoughts.
Only those things that I said where I get an urge to slap a kid or something.
When did this happen?
There's just little things like that. The other day I was in the park and there was a goose just sat on the edge of the pond and I just wanted to run up and kick it. It's because you're not allowed and it's there and it's almost like going, come on. You just want to give it a little boot. And it's same with babies, sometimes you just want to slap their head. Not hard.
Oh, God!
But I'd say that's the weird thing. I have
Ricky
nothing.
has that impulse when he sees you.
I don't have anything where I sort of, want to be German or something. That's too...
I'm not saying I want to be German. I'm saying I feel guilty because when I see those things, I think, I'd have been okay.
Yeah. What would you have done, though? Do you reckon you'd have helped out or you'd have kept quiet, just done your bit?
I'd like to think I'd be one of those people who would have pointed and said, no, you can't be doing this. This is out of order. But I know in my heart I probably would have just kept stum. Because I'd have liked the...
Oh, he's already talking German.
I'd like the uniforms. I'd have just kept my head down.
Well, you might have had to survive.
Well,
I just think I think I'm living in the best time for me. I think if it was about ages ago or something, it wouldn't have been right. I think I've just been lucky.
But if you were in one of those situations, whether it be Nazi Germany, anywhere else, where you see oppression going on, horrors, would you stand up and fight for justice, put your own neck on the line, or would you just keep quiet?
What do you mean, keep your neck? What do you mean?
Well, this is the thing. For instance,
If I knew Anne Frank was in my loft,
well, yeah, would
Perfect.
You, yes, would you
if you
protect
knew
her?
Anne Frank was in your loft and your dad came in and went, right, whatever you do, don't harbour any Jewish people, the Nazis are, right, also they're looking for spiders under tellies, you and your mum sort of looked at each other, so what would you do? You met a little German fella. Young Carl. It's a little round-headed
No,
fella.
I'd probably just go, no, I don't know. I don't know who's up there.
Well, we are checking, and if we find her, then you...
Well, that's ridiculous, real.
Well, what do you think, though? Of course, it was a threat of death if you harboured someone.
Yeah, but
that was why it was so heroic.
Well, hang
People
on,
hiding
sorry,
people.
could we just have this conversation played out, please, Rick?
Go on.
You're the German.
Hello, Carl. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, what's the problem?
You're losing your hair. You're stressed.
A little bit, yeah, it's bad times.
Right. You're not hiding anything from me, are you?
No.
Oh, okay. No, and when you're asleep at night, do you hear the creaks of anyone upstairs?
I'm quite a sort of, once I get to sleep, because my restless legs and that, I'm normally pretty tired, so I'm out like a light.
If I came round, could I look in the attic, and if I find anyone...
It's up to you, I've got to go out, I mean...
Well, I tell you now, if I go on and find someone, I will kill you.
Well, I don't know if anyone's up there. I wouldn't say it's his job, I'd say you go and have a look.
Yeah, but
Well, don't say that, you're meant to be protecting her.
Just say... It's
No,
up
you've
to
got to
you.
get him off the
Go and
set.
have a
You've got
look.
to say, no, she's not there, I just checked, don't worry about that. Listen, I wouldn't lie to you. You'd say...
But this is the point, Carl. Are you willing to put your life on the line for someone else? And I think fundamentally...
Not for her. I
Why
know.
not for her? She's got her whole life to live.
What's
She's
she
a
done?
talent. She's writing. You're not doing anything. What are you
not
doing?
writing.
Staring at
She's
ants?
innocent. More like she's innocent.
I'd say Anne. I'd go up. Anne. Yeah. Listen, they've been again. I think you should move out, because this is sort of dragging... It's stressing me out. They keep knocking, and I'm going to get dragged down with you, so can you move out of the loft now? You've been here a few weeks.
But that's
It's
the
no
point.
sort of life, Anne. You've been up here, you might as well be some sort of moth. There's no light. You sat there writing, so I don't know what you're writing. You've been up here for weeks. What are you writing about? I've kept a diary, and it's a bit of a struggle. You haven't been out. So, can you just move, please?
That's what you do, is it?
I don't know how much you're meant to do.
But this is the point, isn't it, Carl? It's about what are you willing to do? People, during that time, protected people at their own expense, at their own personal risk. They went through, they lied, they got food, they forged documents for them, they tried to sneak them out of the country. They did incredible acts of heroism to
Yeah.
help other people.
And you're doing
saying
nothing.
You're going to kick her out on the
You're
street
adding
after
to
2
it.
weeks.
You're adding to
All
it.
I'm saying is, I'd say, Anne, I think they think you're up here now. I think it's best if you move on.
I don't think you'd have even welcomed her in the first
Why
place.
can't you?
I can't leave here.
Well, I tell you what, I think he's finding something a bit suspicious, and he's going to come up. So I have warned you, Anne. Don't moan, and I'd leave her to it. And then
Yeah,
if
but
they
then-
turn up again, I'd go and have a look.
Well, no, because then you'll still get done.
I won't get done.
You've harboured her now. You're in trouble. So either go through with it and protect her, or stitch her up and get yourself out of. What are you going to do?
I'd say, right, Anne, listen.
Go on.
they've
You've
been-
had one conversation. She's not listening to you. She's busy. She's writing.
Anne,
How are you getting up there?
it's just a little, what's it, ladder? What are they called?
A loft ladder.
Yeah, a loft ladder thing. I
Right, okay.
go up there, give it a bang.
Right.
Hang on a minute, she says, stop her writing. What do you want? Well,
Oh, your dad goes, Carl, what are you doing?
I go, I'm talking to Anne.
Who?
Anne Frank,
Who's Dan Frank?
the woman in the loft.
Well, what? Well, you're not harbouring Jewish people, are you?
I don't know what she is. She's just up there all the time.
What?
I didn't know she was Jewish. I
Yeah,
wouldn't know
but
she was Jewish, you know. I just sort of, she'd just be there. I'm talking about my mum and dad. It's my mum and dad's house.
yeah,
I'm younger.
yeah.
There's a woman in the loft. It's just the norm.
Right.
It's just the norm.
Right.
Well, it must have been with all the Jewish people about.
How's she getting
Everyone must
fed?
have had a Jew in the loft.
Who's? That's so
But you,
Oh,
you. No,
Is
but
it
you
like
know-
getting it lagged?
Yeah.
What's interesting though is that you've deliberately massaged this now to absolve yourself of responsibility. Suddenly you've made yourself a kid and it's not your responsibility anymore.
Yeah.
We are asking you, the adult Carl
They all
Pilkington.
said that.
Adult Carl Pilkington, are you willing to put your neck on the line? And you're
Right.
not. You're a.
Suzanne brings home someone and go, right, they're being persecuted, they're after, right? The mob. Okay, forget it, not that's right. Someone's after, right? They've just put out, they said, look, we've got to hide her. If they find her, they kill all three of us. Right, can we hide her here, Carl? Otherwise she's got nowhere to go. Let's at least take the risk.
Well, let's set some rules.
Go
Before.
on then. Right.
How long are you going to be in the loft for?
It might be a year.
It's a long time, that.
I know, but quick,
Where
they're
have
coming,
you-
they're
where have
coming.
you been?
Quick, in here, right? Right, Carl, do you answer the door and go, she's in here, boys? Or do you go,
Just
no,
stick
she's
her in
not.
the loft a minute.
Okay, she's in the loft, okay.
Hello.
Hi, I'm gonna kill you and your girlfriend Okay, unless you tell me now,
Yeah.
is there someone in your loft? Yes or no?
Not that I know of.
I'm going to check in a minute.
Wait a minute, what do you mean not that you... I'm another one. When you say not that you know of, I am going to go and check in the loft. Are you happy for me to check in the
I
loft?
can't stop you, can I?
Oh, whoa. We want a yes or no, son. Right.
Well, what if I said no? What would happen?
Well, we
Well,
would
then
storm in, and if we found anyone up there, we would presume you knew they were up there, and we would shoot you.
Seems a bit unreasonable. So what I'd say it's weird you mentioned that, because there has been a bit of banging about in the loft, but I think it's coming from next doors. Have you been next door yet?
No, we haven't.
You got to go around there.
All right, mate. Cheers, mate.
No problem. Right,
No.
shut the door, and then that'd be that. I mean, it's,
Well, it seems
they
quite
make it
simple,
seem
actually.
they make it seem worse back then, but that's what age does to things, isn't it? People add bits on and all that.
So
And
what do you think?
take
What do
it
you think
back-
the close to truth to the story is? I
it's
mean,
just
you've
a
done no
woman.
research,
Just
yeah.
a woman. She did a diary and she bummed about in people's lofts without paying for stuff. It's like what do you call them? What do you call them when you get people living in houses?
Squatters.
Yeah, she's basically just a squatter with a diary.
Unbelievable.
That is the worst
Ill-informed thing I've ever
I
heard
have
you say.
ever heard anyone say. Unbelievable. Carl, we've been doing this for a long time and we're struggling for stuff. We ripped off Room 101 last week, called it Room 102. You've done
Brilliant. No one saw
Rockbusters.
through that.
No, exactly, yeah. So, have you heard Desert Island Discs?
Yeah.
Good, let's do that. Right, forget the 8 records. We
Well, hang
can't
on,
play them
for-
anyway. We can't play them anyway.
I know, but for people who are listening in other countries, they may not be familiar with those island discs.
Oh, it's a program. It's a real national institution here. They get prime ministers and leaders of men and really eminent people to go on, and you talk about your life and you choose your 8 favourite tunes. You take a luxury item and you're allowed to take any book. I did it. I was very privileged and honoured and very flattered to be asked to do it myself last year. Apparently, they said, "What book would you take?" And she went, "You get the Bible." I went, "Well, good. I want you to take toilet paper then." And I took a book. I think a tabletop book of art.
Why would you take that?
Oh, so you can't take anything that's useful. It's just and your luxury item. You can't. I took a vat of Novocaine. I thought if I get toothache, I'm sipping on that till I die. If I'm stuck here with nothing to do, I've got 8 records. I'm gonna be sick of them.
That's the thing.
I'm looking at art. At least I'm looking at something.
What book would you take, Carl?
Well, I wouldn't take an art book anyway. I know that.
Right. Okay.
Because
So come on
you're
in.
gonna get
One
sick
book.
of it. You're gonna get sick of.
Right. One book. You can't get sick of art either.
You
okay.
can. You can. You can have a brilliant picture on your wall, but eventually, remember what I've said to you. Your eyes get bored of anything.
I don't remember him saying that. I think I blanked out. I think he came in one ear, straight out the other.
Well, that's why relationships break up, isn't it? Because the eyes get sick of looking at that other person, and you go, "My eyes want to change." That's what it's all about.
Me eyes want to change. Okay, come
Sorry,
on,
love.
Fucking hell, choose a book to
I'd
take.
probably take a dictionary or something
Oh,
like that.
that's ridiculous.
Why?
Why would you take a dictionary?
Just because I'm not that good with words.
But why do you want words for? You're not talking to anyone anymore. You don't have to worry about the vocabulary. You have to worry about... Oh,
But there'll be a lot of
and-
talking to yourself, probably. It'd be nice to sort of...
Oh, so
interest
you're
me.
going to bring yourself up on your grammar, are they? You're talking to yourself and you go, "Oh, Carl, you're an idiot. You don't say it like that." Let's
Well, if
look
you've
up.
got to talk to yourself, it'd be nice to have
Why are you
someone...
talking to yourself, you maniac?
Because there's no one else about.
Yeah, but you don't open your mouth and actually verbally talk in order to talk.
Also, what does it matter if you've got a dictionary or not? Who's arguing with who?
Because sometimes I feel frustrated when I can't get my point across.
But it's just you!
Exactly,
already
that's
know
even
your
more
point.
annoying.
So-
Look how
so-
you're getting annoyed now. You're annoyed with me because I can't explain what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't want to be annoying myself.
Why would you be annoying yourself?
But you'll already understand your point. You don't need to vocalise
No,
it.
sometimes I think through what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
I think, does that make sense? And sometimes I'll go, no, it doesn't. And I'll go, why is that? And then you're working it out in your head. Now, if I've got a better vocab, I'll have a good little chat.
What? Good little what? With yourself.
Carl, you already
On a
understand.
desert island, you've got there, you're not reading the Bible, you get a dictionary out, so you get a better vocab so you can have a decent chat with yourself. What are you saying?
It becomes a point, if you're not keeping yourself interested in anything, your brain's going to turn to mush. Now,
I know how you feel.
I'm teaching my brain stuff, keeping it active. The only thing you've got on that island is your imagination and your thoughts. Now, if you can make those imaginations and thoughts better, which you do with language, you're going to have a better time, aren't you?
Well, no, a thought is never restricted in your own brain by vocabulary, is it?
Of course it is.
No,
Well, no,
because
if
you
you've
don't-
had the thought, you've had the thought. You don't go, hold on, I'd have a thought here, but I can't think of the word.
You don't think in language in that same way, do you? Really, you think more conceptually.
When someone came up, guess what? I've just found the cure for. Oh, I can't think of the word. What?
it, I won't
I've
make
just
it
worked
clear.
out the cure for I can't think of the word. Let's look it up. What is it? Cancer.
No, but just to think, language is a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's run out of words.
you see, this is what I'm saying. It's sometimes difficult for me to get my point across with what I mean.
Yeah, but that's fair enough if you're communicating, say, in this environment, and it's, dare I say it, perhaps a shame that you didn't read a dictionary before we started doing the podcast and all the broadcasting. But anywhere, you've waited here on a desert island with no motherfucker around.
Well, no. Well, I think by then, by the time you get shipwrecked, there would probably be a few more entries to the dictionary. Grippage, foodage, rummaging, replenishing.
But so what? All words are made up. Orange. One day someone went, what?
He's got a head.
It's got a head like
He's
something.
got a
I
head
don't
of
even think
what?
it
It's
is.
got a head like a fucking
I
what?
don't even know what.
He's got a head like a fucking what?
But that's what I'm saying.
Let's make
So-
up a word. It looks like a orange. Like a fucking round orange.
And the other thing is, say if I am captured.
By who?
Ooh.
What?
By who?
By a boat that's passing.
Well, you
Captured?
captured. You mean saved?
All right, saved then, yeah.
Okay.
If I'm there you go again, you see. I went for captured instead of saved.
So you're captured
You're
by some
not
pirates.
talking to anyone, Carl, in your head. It didn't matter. You knew what you meant. When you sat there on that desert island, you thought, oh, if I'm captured by a boat. They didn't come over and go, hi, Carl, we've come to save you. You wouldn't go, well, no, I don't want saving, I want capturing. I go, right, sorry, wait for the next boat. It didn't matter. You knew what you meant. You'd go, help, and you'd get on the boat.
Do you think in words that you don't use?
Unless you're specifically thinking about something you're going to say, maybe because we're doing some writing or whatever, we're not thinking in words, are you? You don't wander around thinking, today I feel so, I don't know what the word is.
Extremely.
You just feel, you experience, you think, you're not thinking logically about words and sentence structure and all those other things. That's not how you operate. So if you're on a desert island having these arguments
But
with
that's
yourself,
all
unless
you've
you're
got.
schizophrenic,
You've only got yourself for company.
yes, but you
If you
don't.
bore yourself, what's the point? What is the point, seriously?
How are you gonna? What? So you think you're gonna read that dictionary and you're gonna be better company because you're gonna be impressing yourself with longer words? You're gonna go.
Well, why do people use big words?
Because they can.
But also to impress themselves. I bet they slip
No,
them
no,
words
impress
in.
To impress themselves,
No.
impress others.
If a boat passes and they go, there's a fella over there on that island, let's go and get him. Now, the way I am at the moment, they'd go, you alright? And I'd go, you what? And they go, oh, don't stop.
Imagine that.
Whereas if I sort of say something with a big word that I can't think of right now, they'll go, oh, who's that? He sounds like he knows his stuff.
Yoo-hoo! Anti-disestablishmentarianism!
Get him on this boat now.
We must have that wit!
Alright, you get...
Come through.
But then I'm on the news and they go, oh, Carl, what was it like on the island? And I can start saying stuff. I
It
can't...
was scramfarious.
No, but then I think it makes it more interesting, whereas at this moment in time, I'd struggle telling
I
them what
think
it's like.
I like the idea of you trying to educate and
I
better
love
yourself.
the idea.
But do it now.
But there's so many other books. If I'm stuck with one...
Okay, the dictionary. You've got a dictionary. What's
Fine.
your luxury item? What's your luxury item? Quick. Let's get off this island. Come on.
What did you take for your luxury?
A vat of Novocaine.
Oh, yeah. Some Revels, a big sort of bag.
Big bag of revels.
A big bag of Revels.
Just for variety.
Well, there's no variety particularly in revels. They're all
Joking,
chocolate,
aren't
aren't
you?
they?
No, all different. You've got orange ones, you've got coffee, caramel, Malteser.
That's it. That's your
Raisin.
luxury.
Sorry, is this podcast sponsored by Revels?
I mean, taking Novocaine isn't great, is it? If you don't get toothache, you'll be going out and bring Revels.
Thank you for listening. I mean, you are martyrs, saints and martyrs to have listened to this all these years. So that's it from us. Why don't you start again? Go back to the beginning and listen to all of them. The back catalogue, 5 series.
See if you can find one wise word from Karl Pilkington.
And if you're listening to this in the future, I tell you what, the world's gone downhill.
No, it'll just be different. I don't think it'll go downhill. It's just going to change, and things are going to be different. We've talked about fat people. Is that a bad thing? Mammoths were fat, weren't they?
Yeah.
Then they died out. Then you get the Ice Age, and then this has happened. It's all going to happen again. That's what's going to happen.
Brilliant. You just decided that now.
Definitely. Well, that's what happens, isn't it? A weed grows out of a crack. Put weed killer on it. 2 weeks later, it's back again. That's what the world's like, a big weed. We're just a weed in the universe.
Good night, everybody.
What I thought I'd start doing is start a diary.
Okay, why?
Just because I sort of had a bit of time on my hands and that. Just thought, write it down, write stuff down.
And do you hope that this one day will become one of the great literary documents like Samuel Pepys' diary?
I haven't heard of that. Is it any good?
You've never heard of Samuel Pepys' diary?
No,
the most famous diary other than probably Anne Frank's.
I've heard of Anne Frank's and that, and I thought if she's sat in a loft, knocking stuff up, not much going on in her life at that point, yet she was still writing it down.
Yeah, whereas
Thought,
you've
I'm
been
on
to Gran
holiday.
Canaria, yeah.
I thought, so there is stuff going on that I can chat about. Start a diary.
Sure.
You started a diary.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Did you keep it up every day?
Yeah, just,
Oh, can I read it, please?
well, a diary is meant to be sort of...
Please, can I read some out on this podcast? Carl.
Some of it, though, is only relevant to me. It's sort of...
Oh, this is... Please, give me it. Oh, my God.
I mean, this isn't... I haven't just...
Look how big it is!
It's one of those desk diaries.
It's huge. It's about a foot long, and it's Oh, that is amazing. Imagine if Anne Franks had been like that. As she got out, right, everyone would have heard it clank down on the desk.
Yeah, but my writing's quite big, isn't it?
Oh, look, give us that. Give us that.
Do you know about joined up writing? Have you heard about
is
that?
There's no point.
Amazing.
Sometimes you can't read it, can you? So it's
Right,
best
okay.
to look at ancient
look,
times.
oh my God, it starts on the first day. This is wonderful. Going on holiday to Gran Canaria today. Woke up to the news that Tony Banks had died. There was a piece on the news about how everyone was shocked. Got me thinking about an invention that would be good. Right, a watch that counted down your life. If it says you've got 3 days left, go to the doctors. Told Suzanne about invention. She said she wouldn't buy one. But she said that about the iPod.
How would this device work, this watch? I mean, how would you know when you were about to die? Is that a concern? Again, not for you to worry about, presumably the boffins and the
No, all I was thinking is that Tony Banks fella, he died and everyone was shocked about it. But if you had like a little watch on...
But how does it work? You can't just say, wouldn't it be good? How would this work? Yeah, I imagine you're in the patent office going, got an idea. They go, oh, certainly, Mr. Pilkington, what's your idea? Watch that counting down your life. Oh, how does that work?
Just wear it, just pop it on your wrist.
No, what do you mean, just pop it on your wrist? How does it work? Just pop it on your wrist. Brilliant. You're an idiot.
Well, it's interesting that he goes on. The flight to Gran Canaria was a bit bumpy. I thought about the clock that counts down your life again, and I wondered if it would know if you were going to die in a disaster. No, he's querying his own design.
He's wondering if he would know. He's invented this.
And now he's not even sure. A fellow on the plane was reading Koi Mag. It was a fishing magazine. I glanced over and noticed he was reading the Pond of the Month article. Don't think they could make it into a weekly magazine. Well, to be fair to you, because I remember seeing a guy on the train once reading Carp Monthly, a magazine dedicated entirely to carp, and it had Carp of the Month. And I just thought, once you're like 3 months in, the editor must be stressing, have we got any more carp? We got a carp that's actually done anything?
I reckon if they used the same one twice, there wouldn't be many complaints.
No one would be noticing.
No, that's the carp they used 2 years ago.
There was a really fat bloke on the plane. He was playing on his PSP. While I waited to go to the toilet, I looked at what game he was playing. It was darts. He's that fat and lazy, he can't even face playing a more active game on a games console. Me and Suzanne got off the coach along with a couple of old people. One of them was in a wheelchair. I don't think it was wise of them to come to a volcanic island with a wheelchair. Everywhere's pretty rough paving and slopey. Guess I'll keep an eye on it as the weeks go on. Day 2 in Gran Canaria.
Brilliant, we're only at day 2.
The hotel's a bit odd. I've never seen as many cross-eyed people in one location.
That's enough. innit?
That's amazing.
Well, you may as well let me read on a bit more.
But this is amazing.
We'll come back to
This
it
is a
later,
brilliant diary. This might be the best diary ever written. Oh.
While sat listening to the Kinks on my iPod, I wondered if everybody thinks in their accent. I know I do. What's this? What are you talking about?
Just that, you know, when I've been sat there lying on the lounger, right, and I was thinking about stuff.
How do you know you think in your accent? Tell me a typical thought.
Because what I mean is, say if I was like, if I saw something, right, do you know how I say, like, oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
No, but
that was
I don't
being
have
said.
to. But when you think, I don't think the sentence is like I'm saying it. It's just a thought. The thought appears. It's conceptual and it's already there. It's not like I go, Rick, what? Just looking at that fellow over there, were you? Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was thinking it was a bit weird. Oh, so was I. I don't think out whole sentences.
Whereas you have Carl, stop listening to the Kinks for a minute. Look over there. More cross-eyed people.
No, well, that's
Is that how
kind
your
of-
mind works?
In a way, yeah. And
Brilliant.
that's when because I
That
thought
explains a lot.
It's great that he has to think of that whole sentences.
that's weird, isn't it? Like I didn't think that's weird, isn't it? And I thought I actually think in my accent. And then I thought, does Stephen Hawking, does he, when he's doing his maths and that, is he? I don't know where he's from, so I don't know what his accent would be like.
I think he's from Kent or Cambridge or Oxford. Or
Right.
something.
So
So you think he might think in his
voice, in that
Yeah.
voice box
computerised
thing.
voice?
Just wondered.
Had lunch inside today due to shite weather. Sat next to an old fella. Old men's ears and noses carry on growing as they get older. Suzanne noticed his fingers were fat too. Maybe they continue to grow. Suzanne didn't laugh when I said her arse had the same problem. Day 3, cloudy start to the day. Had pie and chips in a cafe. Had a bit of an argument with Suzanne because I thought it was daft that we were paying for food when we were on an all-inclusive holiday. Changed my mind when I saw they sold pie though. The cafe was called Tattoos. The fellow who owned it didn't have any tattoos. But we never saw his wife.
Oh, brilliant!
Had a drink in a bar. Everyone sat and watched one of the local cats lick its bollocks.
It's the greatest holiday in the world! That's the entertainment in that town!
Went back to the hotel and had a sleep before tea. I love the fact you're moaning about old people, but you're just as bad.
You've done nothing so far!
He's done nothing, he's got me hip.
Oh, God.
Woke up to news about ducks being badly treated. There was a really ugly one with bent legs.
I'm gonna die! Why does he write this down? Oh, God. Oh.
There is a fat bloke from Bolton who was in the pool as I write this. He's got a big tattoo on his back, but I can't work out what it is. ... He just got out of the pool and burped. You just felt like you had to keep us abreast of that.
Everything's in the diary. I just seen it get to the point where you're going, breathed in,
Yeah.
breathed out again.
There was a big fat fella in the sea who kept his t-shirt on. If you're big and fat, is there more chance of you getting burnt because there's more of you on show? I asked Suzanne and she said she didn't know in that sort of not listening kind of way. I wanted to hang about to see if the fat bloke was going to get in the kayak, but Suzanne said we had to head back. Just let him wait in to see if he's going to capsize. We go home today, so we got up early to get the last bit of cloud.
No, it's just that it wasn't. It's not that sunny all the time. I mean, I was sat in weather that if it was like that here, there's no way I'd be sat in the garden. But because you're on holiday, it's like, well, we've got to sit in it. Put your coat on.
So are you going to continue to write this diary? Every single day?
It's amazing. Keep this diary up. It's amazing.
No, I will keep it up because what I find as well is, I think earlier on before I went away, I think I did learn something, and because I wrote it down, I remembered it a bit better. So
What was that?
I just was thinking then, I forgot it now, but but I remembered looking back at it and not having to read it all because I remembered the end of it before I read it, if you know what I mean.
I have no idea what you're
It's a regular feature now when we read from Carl's diary. Carl decided to keep a diary. He's gone through with it. I could see it there. It's massive. It's a huge desk diary that he has to carry around with him. And The pages are getting full up. You're really keeping to this.
Yeah.
Right, this is extracts from Carl's diary.
Did podcast and went for an Italian with Ricky and Steve. Italian place is good. We've been there a few times. I always have the same thing, spaghetti. Can't remember what everyone else had. Last time we went there, Steve had little octopuses with pasta. You could see that they were octopuses. They hadn't been cut up or anything. My rule is that I only eat stuff that looks nice when it's alive. A cow, a chicken, some fish. An octopus is an odd-looking thing alive. Even worse when it's dead and limp. It looks like it just shouldn't have been sat in the spaghetti.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ricky drew another picture of my head. We've given a few of them away as prizes, but he draws so many of them that they won't be worth as much anymore. Everyone will eventually have one. Like those pictures of a boy crying that caused houses to burn down in the 1980s.
What does that mean?
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember I mean, if you're listening in America, they might not have made it over there.
Is it the sort of like the sugary ones with kids? Like, is it Techikov or something?
It's just some kid. My auntie Nora had one, and it was just like a kid with like a blue jumper on, and it's like a painting, not a photo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he's just crying.
Like a chocolate box. It's really awful, sort of sugary.
And what happened is they found out that a load of houses were being set on fire or burst into flames, whatever. And the weird thing was,
oh, it's bollocks.
every house that burnt down had that photo.
Yeah, because every house had that picture in the fucking 70s and 80s. Idiot. It's like, we're linking it to sinks. Every house that's ever burned down had a sink. You're talking shit again. Carry on.
Wednesday. Saw a homeless bloke. I'm surprised that no companies have thought about sponsoring the homeless. Something like a clothing company. Give them some clothes that have an advert on the back. Everyone's a winner.
Good idea.
Not bad, is it?
Got on the tube to Camden. Read in a free newspaper that hedgehogs could be gone by 2025. I think I've seen more dead hedgehogs than alive ones anyway, so I don't think I'll miss them. Went round to Ricky's house and had a game of pool. It should have been nice and relaxing, but Jane gave me some cake, and Ricky said I can't play pool if my hands are all sticky from cake.
It was the sugar. And it wasn't that either. After he'd finished it, they weren't just sticky. He was licking his fingers, sucking his fingers off, and then was going to pick up pool cues and touch things. And I was thinking, go and wash your hands after licking your hands. You're not a cat.
This turned into an argument when I said I didn't want to wash my hands.
Why didn't he?
He goes for a piss all the time without washing his hands, and then squeezes my head. I know I prefer to have lemon cake crumbs on my head than knob juice. Was going to do a crossword, but I'm tired and have learnt enough today.
What have you learned?
Well, the stuff about hedgehogs and that.
Oh, God.
Was on my way to my mates, and I got on a train. Got close to a station, but realised I needed a wee. Was about to go in a cubicle when a blind man with a dog, who was bumbling his way through the walkway, came around. I said, "Are you after the toilet?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It's on your right." I shouldn't have let him go first, as he took ages, and it would be my stop soon. The dog waited outside the cubicle. I was going to stroke it, but then I remembered someone telling me that you shouldn't. Don't know why
not?
that is.
Because something to do with the owner should be the only one who sort of deals with that dog, and you shouldn't.
Well, you shouldn't stroke it because you'll cover it in fucking lemon cake.
No, but just because, you know, if you stroke it and that, it might like me and want to go off with me, and he'll come out and be lost and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure, but I just thought.
Went and did the podcast. We had a meeting after. I don't like meetings, as I can't keep focused on what people are talking about. I think Ricky has the same problem as after 25 minutes he was trying to wrestle me. I tried to do what spiders do and stayed still as if I was dead. And Ricky just stayed on top of me, not moving. A bit like when you see one of them big snakes swallowing a sheep. Ricky got bored and released me. I went home thinking, why had I left my old job for this? A homeless man asked me for some money, but I didn't feel like I should treat him, as I felt that he'd probably had a better day than me.
Oh, God.
Suzanne called me to say she'd gone for a haircut, and that she'd meet me in the supermarket. I went to the supermarket, but she wasn't there. I called her and she said she was near the fruit aisle. I went to the fruit aisle and she wasn't there. Turns out she was in a different supermarket on the other side of town. And that if I'd listened to her properly, I'd have known that. I didn't want to say that
Well, you just went to the first supermarket you thought of, as opposed to listening to what supermarket... I'm in the supermarket. All right, bye.
I didn't want to say that I hadn't heard her properly, because my ears were ringing a bit from the wrestling from earlier. 25 minutes later, I met up with Suzanne. Her haircut wasn't that bad. Normally her haircuts are followed by an argument between us, as she pays over the odds for some daft haircut that's the latest style.
Brilliant.
I wish she'd take a picture out of a magazine or ask for a style rather than letting the hairdresser do what she wants. I said I only tell her to do this as she's got a square head, and a close-cut hairdo makes it look squarer. She said, what do you think of this cut? I said it looked alright, as I couldn't be bothered arguing about it. It's weird writing a diary. I don't know who thought of doing one of these first. The last time I did one was at school. They used to get you to do it so they could keep an eye on whatever you were up to. My diary used to say the same thing every night. Got home, went to the shop to get potatoes, bread, milk. Went home, watched telly, went to bed. I think I might have gone to Twiggy's Dance Club, just so I had something different to write. You've not told us about Twiggy's Dance Club.
It's just, you know, I sort of, when I was a kid, I sort of gave everything a bit of a go. I did boxing and that, didn't I? Gave that a go.
About 45 minutes.
And, yeah, a mate sort of said, oh, you know, you're into your dancing, your robotics and that, you're doing your body popping, right? Body popping and that. He said, you ought to come to Twiggy's. And, I went there, but I didn't go in, it was shut. They were just having, like, loads of toilet rolls delivered. I think, like, they were, like, using it as a storage place for toilet rolls and that. So I said, oh, I've come to have a dance. And like, oh, not tonight. Come back tomorrow. I never went back.
Brilliant. What a waste of an anecdote. Right. Brilliant.
Just to recap, you're convinced then that the teachers are asking you to keep diaries so they can keep tabs on you. And then to continue the diary, as there were more problems happening on the estate, they started to add Saturday and Sundays to the school diary to keep an eye on what we were doing at the weekend. I struggled to fill it on a Sunday, as the shop I got potatoes and bread from was shut on a Sunday. I had to go over to Shepherd's Bush to meet someone. I got the tube. There was a badly burnt man on the tube. It's amazing how the body can continue through quite a lot of bad stuff. It got me thinking about how much stuff you could remove in your body, one by one, without dying. If it was a competition, the cockroach would win, as it can live for a week without a head.
I just mean, like, say if, you know, they run out of ideas for TV programmes and that, right? They get someone who isn't well. They go, look, do you mind if we make a programme on you? And what they do, they sit them in the bed, and they go, right, what we're going to do now is take out the heart, but replace it with a pacemaker. Right,
No. Sorry. People with pacemakers don't have their heart taken out and a pacemaker popped in.
All right, then. Some sort of machine. What I'm getting to is...
Have you been playing Operation?
What I mean is the big finale would just be a head chatting with loads of wires going into it, and it's like, look what we can do with science.
That's what the programme's called. It's the same every week. The volunteer is just a head with loads of wires going out
Look
of it.
what we can do with science.
And he's going,
Goodbye.
I feel ill.
Got some post delivered to me today. It was... Oh, this is
This
great.
makes it in the diary.
Got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington.
I don't know why that's so funny. Oh, God.
I got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington. I opened it, and the first sentence read, Dear Mr. K. Dilkington, you're one of our most valuable customers. I put it in the bin. Thought I would learn some new words, as Steve always says I don't use enough different words. I read in the Fortean Times that the word whew means an ugly female ghost with drooping breasts.
What do you mean?
Is that how am I pronouncing that right?
Who's using that word? Who is using that word?
It was just W-E-W-E.
Let's call it a woo. An ugly female ghost with drooping breasts. I think I'm right when I say there are too many words in the world. I don't think I will ever get round to using the word woo. Watched a health programme. Wasn't watching it properly, but heard some doctors say that we only get so many heartbeats in a lifetime, so don't do too much exercise. I told Suzanne, and she said I probably hadn't heard it right. We got talking about death. Suzanne said she didn't like thinking about it. I said she might end up being a woo. I was chuffed as I'd managed to use my new word. I went to the supermarket to get tonight's tea. On the way, I stopped and looked in the fishmongers at all the different fish they had in the window. It's like a child like in one of those kids' TV shows.
I know!
Mr. Pilkington went to the fishmonger. He stopped and looked at all the fish in the window.
Hello, Mr. Dilkington, they said.
There was a newspaper clipping stuck on the glass about a two-headed fish that they've made in Taiwan. I don't see the point in doing this, as a fish having two heads ain't gonna solve the world's hunger problems, as the head is the bit you throw away. Invent a fish with two bodies, and I'd say well done.
Good point, isn't it?
Suzanne watched one of her favourite TV programmes. I've told her the telly only goes on if there's something she wants to watch. If there's nothing on, she has to talk to me about stuff I've learnt. Like Descartes. Watched a programme on him the other day. He is the one who said something like, I know I'm about 'cause I dream. Doesn't work for everything 'cause ants don't sleep. I don't know if I'd like that or not. Sunday, got up. Sunny day, so went for a walk in the park. There was a bloke walking down the street who was whistling. Some kind of annoying tune. He seemed quite happy with himself. Do people only whistle when they're happy? I don't whistle very much.
It's a good point. Whistling is so inane to me. But yeah, it's sort of like going, I'm content, it really is that thing that if they go, you go, well, Mr. Mellors, I'm afraid, I've got some bad news. Not only has your wife died, but you've lost the house. Thanks, Doctor.
Wouldn't happen, would it?
No, you don't whistle when
yeah.
you're sad. The other place you hear it, of course, is changing rooms. And that's men going, I'm whistling, so I'm not looking at your cock. How could I be? I'm concentrating on whistling.
The lake was frozen over where I was walking. The ducks looked worried. They were sat on the edge of the lake waiting for it to melt. Were they, Carl?
Yeah, we just sat there looking, sort of going, oh, what's going on? I don't know, how long is a duck's memory? Because I wondered whether they're going, this doesn't seem right, but I don't know why.
I asked Suzanne why ducks don't use their wings much. They seem to walk and swim more and don't bother using their wings. Suzanne said she had to call her mum and dad, so I never got an answer.
The old excuse! Suzanne, oh, I can't talk now, Carl.
Gotta phone my mum. There was a marathon-type run going on in the park. It reminded me of the time when we were moving flat. It was the day of the London Marathon. Me and Suzanne were walking down the middle of the road taking some stuff to our new flat. I was carrying a lamp and a kitchen bin. People were clapping me, thinking I was doing some kind of fun run.
Why were you walking on the same route?
Because it was when we lived on the Docklands.
Oh, brilliant.
There was no other route. The flat was just about 100 yards down the road.
They're going, look at the bloke with the bald wig. He's carrying a lamp and a bin.
Took a bag of old clothes to Oxfam. It was just old T-shirts and a couple of jumpers with holes in it. I don't think anyone will buy them. But the Oxfam is closer to the flat than the wheelie bin is. On the tube on the way back home, saw an advert for a book about a woman who works in a funeral home. She went into work one day, she goes to work on a body, she takes the sheet off of one of the bodies, and it looks exactly like her. This is called a doppelganger.
What's a doppelganger to you?
It's the thing I read about them ages ago where someone was walking down the street.
Yeah, and he sees somebody who looked a bit like him.
And no, this was weirder than that.
Go on.
He remembers, like, going down that street as a kid on his bike, whistling.
Yeah.
And then he's walking down the street, going to get some milk or whatever from the shop. Little bike comes whizzing past. He hears the whistling, he goes, that's weird. Looks at it, it was him when he was a kid. So it's like a time.
Oh, shit. What do you mean it was him as a kid?
This is like a different form of doppelganger. It's just
Well, it's impossible, it's rubbish.
some sort of time thing, isn't it?
No, it's
time,
but that's impossible, so don't
It's
worry
just some
about
kind
it.
of time thing, Rick. No.
Yeah, it's something you read again on the internet, or it was a short story, or something someone told you.
On my walk back from the tube, I saw a jogger who was pushing a pram at the same time. The kid looked terrified. Got my science book out. It said that the static you get on the telly when a channel isn't tuned in properly is radiation that is still knocking about from when the Big Bang happened. I thought about the Big Bang and wondered if it was really a Big Bang, or did it just sound louder as there was no other noise to drown it out.
Good point, isn't it?
Carl's diary, Rick, never ceases to amaze. More from that next week.
I don't believe it! He's written it down.
Well, that's the jingle that signals it's time for more extracts from Carl's diary, and we'll lunge straight into it. Wandered down Carnaby Street. There was a happy homeless fella. I gave him £1.50. I thought of a tongue twister after giving him the money. It goes, if you can't treat a cheerful tramp, what sort of tramp can you treat?
It's good, that.
All
Say
right.
it fast.
If you can't treat a cheerful tramp, what sort of tramp can you treat?
Good, isn't it?
Good, that, yeah. You've got too much time on your hands, Carl.
Learned some famous quotes to see if they are as good as my sayings. Number 1, treat every day as if it's your last. Very famous saying. Now, is that something you do, Carl?
But you know, me problem with that one is that if it was your last, you wouldn't want to be doing much. That's the only problem I've got with that. I wouldn't want to, you know, go to a fairground or whatever because you're going, oh, it's my last day, what am I going to do? And I think you'd spend so much time worrying about what you're going to do that you'd end up staying in.
I think you're right. You've taken some of the poetry out of it. I think it means live life to the fullest, right?
I like the fact that you were musing on the idea that if it was your last day, you'd go to the fair. It's getting such a 19th century way of spending your final day.
I know, yeah. Well, the thing is, the other thing is that the only thing that people get depressed about in terms of sort of like you know, life and death is not the knowledge that they're gonna die, but more the knowledge that they know they're going to die when they're dying. If someone told you, no one ever knows when they're going to die, no one ever gets an illness, no one ever gets hit by a truck, everyone passes away peacefully in their sleep, dreaming they're riding a big marshmallow, right? Then you wouldn't care about anything. It wouldn't matter when. It wouldn't matter if you died tomorrow or in 30 years' time. You'd just live life to the full. You'd have every day would be great. You'd go out, you'd come back, you'd fall asleep. That would be amazing. There'd be no stress. There'd be no angsty, we're all going to die stress, because it wouldn't matter, because it would just be your life. Wouldn't it be amazing if someone guaranteed you, Carl, you're going to die in your sleep? I'm not going to tell you when.
Yeah, but some people do, don't they?
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
but we
I
never
want
know
that.
we're going to, because we stress, what if we get a dreadful illness? What if we, you know...
But we're almost not letting people die naturally anymore, are we? Because we're always bodging stuff up.
What do you mean?
Well, someone who might naturally die in the sleep aren't allowed to naturally die in the sleep because they wake them up with those electric things and get them going again and pop in a new lung or whatever whilst they're at it. That's what I'm saying. They don't just... You never hear it anymore, do you? Frank peacefully died in his sleep. No, he died on the operating table whilst we were putting in a new lung. They don't die naturally anymore.
Frank died peacefully with 40,000 volts going through them and a couple of people going, clear! Clear!
Rushing about today. Got to get a lot done as I'm flying to Malaga tomorrow to see my mum and dad. Don't like flying. I'd be happy if they give you a parachute instead of a life jacket. They say Da Vinci invented the parachute as well as the helicopter. He never got round to making them though, because he only drew them on some paper. Got up at 5 AM as I had to get to Heathrow to get on the plane to see mum and dad in Malaga. Went out for a drink with a cousin who lives in Spain. Ain't seen her for 27 years. Oh, that must have been tricky, making conversation.
I didn't really bother. Because where do you start? I might as well go up to anyone in the street and start having a chat.
Yeah, you have to get further back than, did you want Chantal to win Big Brother?
Yeah. Me dad and me talked about history. I said we shouldn't go on about things that happened ages ago because I bet something similar has happened more recently.
Brilliant.
Read about an island in the Indian Ocean where there are tribesmen still living like they're cavemen. A helicopter tried to land and the tribesmen chucked spears at them. This is what I meant about not having to talk about things that happened ages ago. We have got new cavemen now, so why do we talk about the old ones? People could have lived before, but computers and all that blew up and books got burnt, so all they had left was what these tribesmen have got left.
Ramblings
That's the ramblings
madman.
of a maniac.
That
I mean,
is
that's
the-
just a few hours before you go crazy with a gun in the...
No, but what I mean there is, right, say if all this has happened before, right, podcasting's been happening years ago, something happens,
Again, a lot of information from the Planet of the Apes.
something happens, world ends, right, we come back again somehow.
Yeah. It's the detail you
that-
leave
yeah.
out that makes
Yeah.
you intriguing. Just like the watch that you can wear that tells you when you're going to die. How does it work? Pop it on your wrist. That's all the detail you need. So the world happened.
No.
We came back.
Have you seen the pictures? Forget it then if you don't get it.
It's interesting that you had all those profound thoughts about this period in the past when they all lived, but you still found it appropriate to include at the end of that. It says the tribesmen wave their knobs about when they've had enough of having visitors.
That's what it said in the paper. That's what happened. They're quite happy.
What paper is this that you're reading?
It was in like a paper a couple of days ago. It said they don't mind having visitors if they're bringing them coconuts and stuff that they can eat. Once they've got everything they need, they start waving the tackle about, and that means like, right, leave now. Which you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, at a dinner party.
My grandfather used to do that. Got a book sent to me called Freaks. It's a bit heavy, but it's got some interesting pictures in it. Read a bit about the two-headed nightingale. She/they was on tour in London years and years ago. It cost 2 shillings to have a front row seat. She/they had 2 heads/2 arms and 4 legs. They are called Siamese twins because the first twins that were born stuck together were Siamese. On one of the pictures they are playing chess against a doctor. That hardly seems fair.
2 heads are better than 1.
So it's 2 heads, 2 arms, and 4 legs. That's just 2 women in one dress.
Yeah, that's 2 women with an arm missing.
Yeah.